Hi guys, hope you're having a great week. I had to set up right here because look at this view behind me. Like London is showing off tonight. It is so beautiful. I can even try to put it more in focus. Look at that. My word. I never take that view for granted. Just looking over the sun setting, over the Thames, over, you can see downtown. It's just so beautiful. But I was editing and about to upload what is now my fourth vlog, which has been very fun. I really love editing video. I always have since studying like broadcast journalism in college and whatnot. And as I was editing this one that's really fun because it's our trip to Paris, I realized I don't like narrate in it very much. I don't really explain what's going on. Like I can put in the captions what's going on or what a place is called. And then in the description, as always, I am very thorough in my descriptions. I'll put links to everything I can. I'll even put discount codes for stuff like I do in this one. I'll explain. And obviously I link all my outfits or makeup that I'm showing in it. But I wanted to explain what this trip to Paris even was because I never do that in the video. Also, I wanted to put my tips for visiting Paris based on this recent trip because there are a couple things that even threw me for a loop. I'll explain too. First of all, I studied abroad in Paris when I was in college and loved it between my freshman and sophomore year during summer. It was so fun. Like we lived in dorms there, we took classes there, we traveled on the weekends around France. So I did feel like I knew Paris well enough. And then Sam and I went to ring in 2020, New Year's. It was incredible. Little did we know what would happen in 2020, but we were celebrating that night and had so much fun. Just a quick little trip to Paris when he was playing basketball in Russia and I was still working in the States, no baby yet. It was very romantic, très romantic. So I felt like I had a good grip on the city and this trip still was teaching me things. So while we were there, Sam's team, the London Lions, had an away game in Paris and we thought, oh, we have to go. And my husband's parents were in town from Wisconsin. They were helping watch the baby when I went away to my sister's bachelorette, which was literally the night before. I got in Sunday night, we left Monday morning. So it was such a turnaround and you'll see that. My head was spinning. I had no idea what time it was and just so like mentally drained, but still so excited to go back to one of my favorite cities. So when Sam's parents were going to come to London, we thought we'll definitely stay for this away game. Let's all go to Paris, blah, blah. Well, Sam gets hurt a couple games before this, so he's not going to play in the game. And we're like, we'll still go. It'll still be great. We'll still go to the game. When we get to Paris, we realized we were about 40 minutes from the arena and the game started later than we thought. So we never even went to the game, which I felt really guilty about. But Wolfie had to go down to sleep at like 7:30. The game started at 8:30. Anyways, we didn't see the game. We didn't even see Sam when we were there because the team was staying at another hotel and I had booked us in central Paris because I wanted us to be able to really go sightsee because it was Sam's parents' first trip to London, to Paris. So it ended up being a very random trip of just me and my baby and my in-laws to Paris, but we had so much fun. My in-laws are amazing people. They're really go with the flow. Like I'd say, what one of these itineraries do you want to do today? They're like, we don't care. So we had a really good time. So here are my tips from what we learned because our trip didn't start out so great because I was such a bonehead. And I'm going to blame my jet lag and all of my travels on this one. We went to the wrong train station. So when I'd booked our train tickets, I thought, okay, and it's from King's Cross because I feel like everything leaves from King's Cross. No. We were at St. Pancras. Luckily, they're right across the street from each other, but it lost us just enough time that we missed our train. We missed our train to Paris, and I am still so angry at myself because if I had just done one more check of my emails, I would have seen it was St. Pancras. And I also assumed because Sam and I had traveled via train within the UK, like we'd gone up to Scotland, you basically can just walk on the train like as it's pulling off and they check your ticket while you're on the train. It's really laid back. Because the UK is no longer part of the EU, it's not like that. It's like an airport. Long security line, long customs line, all this stuff I just didn't account for. I thought if we got to the station 30 minutes before our train, we'd be good. So that was our major mistake. We missed our train. Luckily, there was one an hour and a half later. But as you probably saw in the news, there were protests and all this drama in Paris, and the trains did stop some services the next day. So our timing was actually very lucky. I'm going to count my blessings that we even got there, because we might have not. Also, a lot of these stations have great restaurants and shops, so it's actually kind of worth it. And just treat it like an airport and like you're going to another country, because you are. So that was a big boneheaded move of mine. The second thing kind of on that note is we didn't see any of the violence, any of the protests. From what I hear, it was way worse looking on the news than it actually turned out. We had so many people warning us, you know, don't go to this area, don't go near these big touristy areas. People will be protesting because they raised the retirement age in France and everyone's really upset. And so we never saw it. So I feel really lucky. Again, we were expecting like this horrible experience and the timing of it being so horrible, and we didn't see anything. One of the people who warned us about all this was our taxi driver when we got to Paris at Gare du Nord train station. So we wait in the train station line, like an airport, like there's a guy there who's regulating it all. It's all very regulated and legit. They ask where you're going, and then they tell the taxi driver. So we get in the cab. The guy's great. He's asking about the baby who was with me and then showing me pictures of his baby. He was great. And then we get to the hotel and we try to pay with a card, and he said, "Oh, I'm cash only." I laughed. I was like, "No, you're not. It's 2023. No one's cash only. If anything, the world is cashless. The world is cashless. I'm convinced of it." And maybe London's kind of ahead in this area, because everywhere we go, it's tap to pay. I haven't seen money in forever. And even when I'm in the States, I'm not a cash person. Anyways, the guy's like, "Nope, sorry, only cash." I go into the concierge at the hotel and I say, "This joker out here, he's trying to say just cash." I said, "There's no way." He said, "Actually, cab drivers within Paris, like if they're just going 15 minutes or so, which was our length of trip," he said, "are cash only." So he said, you know, get some cash out, whatever. But he said, because he inconvenienced you, you inconvenience him and ask for a receipt. Because the reason he wants cash only is because he doesn't want to report it and pay taxes. So he said, you know, eye for an eye, ask him for a receipt. I didn't do that. But the lesson there, I still don't think you have to get cash out when visiting major cities. I think before you get in a cab, ask them if you take credit card. And even better, here's my big tip in Paris and in London too, but Paris Ubers are fantastic. And I think it's safer anyways, because then you don't have to go on the runaround. You know they're not going to take you a long route. You know you don't have to exchange money or talk about that or round up, or you just get in the car. I love it. So definitely take advantage of Ubers in London. Paris. My third tip, and this is true of London and of Amsterdam and of really any city that's on a body of water, especially a river that runs right through it, see the city by water. And that's the first thing I did when I booked this trip. After I booked our trains to the wrong station, our hotel, I booked us a river cruise on the Seine. And there's so many different cruise options. You can do a dinner cruise, a lunch cruise, a champagne cruise, which is what we did, a champagne tasting cruise, which was amazing. I put a direct link to it in the description and a 15% off coupon. So use that link to book, because I love Viator. That's how I book all my stuff, even in London here. But it's just the best way to see the city. You really see everything. And our trip was so short. It was just really 2.5 days. So we needed to see a lot in a short amount of time. So that was fantastic. Last thing I want to say is traveling with the baby. And again, my husband was at another hotel. We didn't even see him. It was difficult because right now he's on a pretty regimented sleep schedule. So there are a couple hours in the middle of the day I have to sit in a hotel room with him. And I'm not complaining, because obviously his well-being and his schedule comes first. But there are times you're kind of like, man, this trip would be a bit richer and more full with no baby. But alas, he came, and when we were out and about, we had so much fun, and he was really well behaved. But it does mean, you know, your dinners are much earlier, and you've got to sit in the hotel room a bit more than you wanted. But overall, really great. Always make sure to tell the hotel you're staying at before that you are bringing a baby and need a crib, because some rooms will not accommodate it, and then you don't want to be in trouble when you get there, assuming you'd be good at the crib, and they say there are no more rooms that accommodate that. So a couple of my tips. Enjoy this video. Again, super random, quick trip with my in-laws who are lovely. You'll see them. They're very funny. And I didn't talk much as we were going. Like, I didn't narrate much as we were going, because I was just so in the moment and having so much fun with them. And I do think I could get better with that as I'm continuing to vlog, like explain things as we go. But I think this little preamble monologue will kind of set you up nicely. But enjoy the video. And if you have any comments about tips for me in the future going to Paris, because we will be going more in the future, at least once a year when Sam has an away game there. But just leave any comments and any questions. I'd love to answer any questions in the comments. Thanks, guys. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is a fool's errand. We're going to Paris, Wolfie. It's like 6 a.m. I just got in last night for my sister's bachelorette. Quick change. I'll show more of my Paris day one outfit later, but I do kind of like it. Sam's parents are coming with us. We are so excited. Uber's here. Ah! Such a good boy. Where are we going? Vive la France! Checking into our hotel, and I just love seeing this view. The beautiful architecture in Paris, and someone is settling in very nicely. Yes. See, I don't need to pack your toys when you just have toilet paper. You happy? Hey. Here we go. Finally, we'll have something go our way.
So the thing to bear in mind is that the cork can pop up at any time. So hold the cork at any point. Then grab the bottle with your strong hand and put your thumb on the cork. Then you can untwist the wire 7 times. Okay? Here is when most people do the mistake of removing the wire and then removing the cork. Never do that. Okay? This is when danger comes. So grab the bottle with your second hand, and you can twist the bottle with your remaining hand. And after 2 or 3 turns, you will feel the cork pushing. So here, if I open this hand, it will pop right away, which hopefully is one. So slowly bend the cork, and it should make a noise that we call the whisper.
Hey. My corks never whisper.
My cork popped.
Mine pops. We're obnoxious. This champagne cruise. Hi. Are you listening and paying attention? Hi, champagne. Santa eyes. Just be on the nose. No champagne for you. Look at that view. Good morning. Bonjour from Paris. Having a little petit déjeuner in this beautiful glass house. Look at this. So beautiful, Wolfie. Yeah? Yeah? Pajama party in Paris? You slept through the night? You slept so good? Yes? Le petit loup? Really? Have a great day. is my absolute favorite in Paris. I remember it last time we were here. It's all like vintage, consignment, old fashioned. I remember they have a ton of Chanel jackets. Carol, let's see what we can find. I'm glad we found it. I'm glad I remembered what it was called. Okay, I don't think that's it. I think it's over here. Let's try again. That wasn't the entrance.
What?
Here we go. This is the entrance. Okay, let's see what we find. That's what I get. No, which way? Straight. We have a red. Okay. Oh, Nana have it? Thank you. Ooh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Wolfie have it? Let's see if you like foie gras. Let's see if you like foie gras. Yummy, yummy. Wolfie. It's a big bite. Mmm. Yummy.
You guys, how's your burger?
Foie gras boy. Street. The Hotel Crillon. The Sofitel, where we stayed. La Bourge and Francois FELIX. Maybe one of my favorite restaurants in Paris, just because I've been there the most. 3 times I've been to this restaurant, and it is so, so good. Look how quaint. This would last me all night. That one would? Finally, we found one big enough. Only problem is that's bubbles. Can you imagine that's actually champagne? Oh my God. Do they have Chardonnay? Excuse me, do you have Chardonnay? In this size? In that size?